in the NCAA tournament at State as the Illinois State Redbirds meet the Bradley Braves for the Missouri Valley Conference postseason championship. And a pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome to the championship game of the Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference postseason basketball tournament. We've got a dream matchup, Mike Pratt, in Central Illinois. If you take a look at these two teams, perhaps the most intense rivalry in the Missouri Valley Conference, these two teams also represent contrasting styles.
Wayne, they really do. If you like defense, if you're one of those college basketball fans, loves to play good, tough team defense, you like Illinois State. If you like a ball club puts numbers on the boards quickly, you like Bradley. So you put those two teams together, it's going to be a battle of the wills.
Well, of course, we have a great guard in Hersey Hawkins on the floor here tonight, but you feel the key to this game will be in the front line.
I really do. Both the previous games were decided in the paint with the big guys. I see no exception tonight.
All right, these two teams split their regular season series.
Careers are coming to a point where one advances for sure to the NCAA and one may sit at home. So what you have is really two groups that know each other so well playing in such a big game for all the marbles.
Bradley trying to become the first team since the 1985 Tulsa Golden Hurricane to win the Valley regular season and postseason titles in the same year. They are 14-1 at home this year. Mike Pratt, you mentioned early on in this tournament that there may be some undue pressure, some subtle pressure behind playing in the lead role. If Bradley doesn't win this tournament, it's considered to be a lost cause. They're favored, heavily favored to win on their home floor, and there is some subtle pressure to that.
It would be considered an upset, I'm sure, by many people. Maybe not a big upset, but an upset because Bradley is extremely tough here. Bradley's key is they must play to win this game. They cannot play not to lose. The difference is they have to play aggressive and not think. They must play reaction basketball and not hesitate.
Once again, take a look at how these teams got here. I mentioned verbally a moment ago. There you get a look at the grid right there. Illinois State's victory over Drake may have cost Gary Garner his job. Illinois State then went on to eliminate a good Wichita State team that is sitting home with 20 wins, still hopeful of an NCAA berth. Then you've got Bradley in the lower bracket, ousting Indiana State in a national game on Saturday night, advancing to a matchup against Creighton, a team that had upset Southern Illinois. The Creighton just didn't have the horses to stay with Bradley. Hersey Hawkins, Anthony Manuel, and Donald Powell and company advance to the championship game against Illinois State. Bob Donwald mentioned these guys, Hollifield and Peterson, with their injuries. Peterson an ankle, Hollifield a knee injury, are not the same players defensively that guarded Hawkins and Powell in January. So that's the matchup tonight. It's Bradley against Illinois State. Illinois State 18 up and 11 down, 9-5 in the Valley. Bradley 25-4, 12-2 in the Missouri Valley. And once again, we welcome those of you looking in around the country. This is the Missouri Valley Conference Championship game. The Redbirds of Illinois State and the Bradley Braves separated by some 35 miles of Illinois Interstate 74. Bradley Braves break their huddle. We're just about set for the starting lineups for tonight's game as Bradley takes on Illinois State. Let's go to the public address announcer, Paul Herzog.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Carver Arena in Peoria, Illinois, for tonight's championship game of the Pepsi Missouri Valley Conference Tournament, featuring the Redbirds of Illinois State University and the Bradley University Braves. And now let's meet the starting lineups. At a forward for Illinois State, a 6'7" senior from Detroit, Michigan, 32, Cliff Peterson. And for Bradley, a 6'7" senior from Havana, Illinois, number 40, Trevor Trempe. For Illinois State, a 6'6" senior from Oak Park, Michigan, 45, Tony Hollifield. And for Bradley, a 6'8" senior from Nowata, Oklahoma, 24, Donald Powell. Center for Illinois State, a 6'7" sophomore from North Chicago, Illinois, 52, Gerard Coleman. And for Bradley, Bradley, a 6'8" sophomore from Springfield, Illinois. 53, Luke Jackson. And a guard for the Redbirds, a 6'4" sophomore from Mount Morris, Michigan. 43, Ricky Jackson. And for Bradley, a 5'11" junior from Chicago. Number 12, Anthony Manuel. The other guard for ISU, a 6'6" senior from Pekin, Illinois. 34, Matt Taphorn. And for Bradley, a 6'3" senior from Chicago. 33, Hersey Hawkins. The coaches in his 10th season at Illinois State, Bob Donewald. And in his 2nd season at Bradley University, Stan Albach.
There you have it, the matchup is Bradley and back D-Vest.
Wayne, with a game like this, it's great to see these quality referees. We've had them before on our game of the week. We've had them in a tournament. This will be a well-called basketball game.
Bradley in the white uniforms, the Redbirds in the solid red. Howell and Coleman on the tap. It's controlled by the Braves. This is Anthony Manuel, 2nd of the nation in assists. Hawkins, number 33 in white. Guarded by Peterson right away.
Watch the way Illinois State packs it in, sloughs off from the help side position whenever Hawkins gets the ball.
Hawkins gets it back, blocked by Hollifield of the first foul of the ball game.
Whenever he gets the ball inside, he will draw a crowd. By a crowd, I mean 3 or 4 players. There's 2 with the 3rd one coming on him. All 4 down there now. And he outworks all 4 guys for a putback.
Hawkins leads Bradley in rebounding at 7.8 per game, averaging 8 rebounds a game in tournament play. Hawkins now 37 short of Robertson's record. Oscar Robertson, all-time career scorer in Missouri Valley Conference history. Bradley with a trapping defense. Jackson spins away.
I like that move by Coach Stan Albach. He's taking the attack to Illinois State. He's not waiting back. He's trying to become the aggressor right off the bat.
Hollifield out high. That's Matt Taphorn, good three-point shooter. Thrown away by Taphorn, intercepted by Manuel to Hawkins. Yes, it counts.
Watch this acrobatic shot by the Hawk. Look at him follow the ball all the way into the hoop. From another angle, watch his head and his eyes never leave the basket. Wayne, if he gets above his average of 37 points a game, if he gets 40 to 63, which he has done this year, Illinois State is in trouble.
Hawkins has all 5 points in this game. That foul on Matt Taphorn, his first, 2nd on the team. Again, the Bradley trap. Again, the Redbirds break it. Thrown away by Hollifield. Manuel to Jackson. Bradley is off and flying.
The up-tempo created by Bradley's press and the subsequent steals has really made this ball game so far.
Here comes the Hawk. Bob Donewald's got to be thinking about a timeout.
And we talked about Illinois State's defense in the open. How about Bradley's full court pressure defense?
This is Peterson. Taphorn for 3. Gerard Coleman. First 2 points of the game for the Redbirds.
That'll sit some of the people down right here at this ball game. Wides down a little bit, but the empty trips down the floor where Illinois State did not even get a shot at the basket really will tell in this ball game. They must get shots at the basket.
Howell. Taphorn on the rebound. Wayne Larrabee and Mike Pratt were in Peoria for the Missouri Valley Conference postseason championship game. Bradley leading by 7. Holofield. 4 unanswered points now by Illinois State. They trail by 5. Here's the lead. Jackson.
Wayne, how many teams in the country score off made baskets? And how many teams in the country have big guys like Luke Jackson run the floor, beat the other team's guards back down the floor? That's what makes Bradley's break so effective.
Ricky Jackson out front. Tap one on the weave. Walk.
Illinois State might need a timeout here. 11-4 lead for Bradley. If Bradley scores here, a timeout to settle his team down by Coach Bob Donewald.
4 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the game by Illinois State. Redbirds play man-to-man all the way. Hawkins for the outside. Howell crashing the boards, and Taphorn leaning in commits the foul. It is his second and the third on Illinois State.
Rebounding is going to be critical when Illinois State beat Bradley. Their inside game, the inside game of Bradley was not effective like this. They did not pound the boards like Donald Powell just did.
John Pemberton coming on. He played 13 minutes the other day. Gave them 13 pretty good quality minutes for the Redbirds in their semifinal victory over Wichita State. Now away from the ball. They've got an injury.
I believe it's Hersey Hawkins.
I believe it is. It is Hawkins who's down. It was well away from the ball. We'll try to pick it up for you if we can.
He went down holding his knee also, Wayne, and that's you see him holding his left knee there. That if anything's wrong with this young man, it would be just an unbelievable blow.
We'll take a great player from this game, and again, let's see, they're letting him move the knee now. Our cameras, it was well off the ball. Hawkins is continually in motion away from the ball. It's one of the keys to his success offensively. And we did not pick it up on our cameras as to what happened to him. The ball was way out front. He was cutting on the baseline.
Coach Stan Albeck has set this offense up to where he is constantly moving without the basketball. Then he shakes free. Bradley delivers the ball. He got caught down in the corner.
You see Stan Albeck to the right side of your screen, just barely in your screen. The Bradley coach. Hersey Hawkins talking with the team doctor. It appears he's all right. He'll probably come out momentarily.
Might have just been a cramp, a muscle cramp. This is an emotional game, as we talked about. The adrenaline really flowing for all these players out here.
The official Ron Zetcher talking with Stan Albeck.
Stan's either going to have to call a timeout or
make
take
a
him out.
substitution. Yes.
Right.
I'm a little surprised when Bradley led 9-0 that Bob Donewald didn't call a timeout, but he hung in there with what was going, and his kids scored 4 unanswered points, got back into it. Bradley subsequently has hit another field goal and now leads by 7.
Well, Bob might have been waiting to see if Bradley scored this trip down the floor and then utilize a timeout.
Paul Wilson, a junior from Lorain, Ohio, replaces Hawkins in the backcourt for Bradley. Trevor Trippy will toss in at side court.
Paul Wilson has been a real factor off the bench in the first 2 tournament games for Bradley. Really gives him some firepower offensively. He can hit the three-pointer, and he's an excellent defensive player.
Manuel to Jackson over Pemberton. Luke Jackson is hot. He's got 6.
Bradley can win this ball game with that inside play of Jackson, Powell, and Jones. If they're a factor, Bradley will win, no matter how many points Hawkins scores.
Jeff Harris in the game for Illinois State. Good outside shooter. Peterson hasn't scored much in this tournament, but he's been a demon off the boards. Jackson penetrates. Dishes to Pemberton, and they pull it back out.
Illinois State not in a hurry. Offensively, they're going to turn their passing game over and over and over, trying to look inside the Holofield or the jump shot for that man right there, Jeff Harris.
Howell the rebound. Anthony Manuel. You have to guard Trippy at the three-point line. Howell in the paint. Peterson, another rebound.
Bradley not getting any second shots.
Jackson to Hollifield. Howell commits the foul. His first, that is the first on Bradley.
Jackson, nice pass. Hollifield extremely tough inside. This tournament just outquicks Donald Powell.
Hollifield. There's Hersey Hawkins back in the lineup now for Bradley. Hollifield to the free throw line. For the last 11 games is shooting 76% from the free throw line. He's a 52% career free throw shooter.
Illinois State, last couple of years, really had problems with shooting. Concerned that man right there, Bob Donald. But in the last 15 or so ball games, they have hit 76+% from the foul line.
Hollifield now has 3 points, 15-28 left to go. Thus far, it's been Bradley impressively. We'll be back. CAA single game Missouri Valley Conference scoring record, single season MVC scoring record. He's only 31 points away from the all-time career scoring record of Oscar Robertson of the Missouri Valley Conference. Hawkins, number 33 in white.
Keep our eye on the Hawk and see how his tumble in the corner affects his offensive and defensive play in the first couple minutes.
Luke Jackson from 20. Jackson has 8.
Well, Powell did it in the first 2 ball games. Jackson seems to be the guy with a hot hand inside now.
Harris trying to go over Powell. Harris gets it back. Nicely done, but it won't drop. Rebounding foul on Quick Peterson of Illinois State. His first personal foul, 4th on the team.
They're taking no prisoners inside at this ball game. They're up on the glass. Illinois State sends all 5 players to the basket whenever possible, but against Bradley, they're going to look to get back from offense to defense. That might hurt them rebounding on their own shots.
Hawkins for 3. Crimpy on the tap. Anthony Manuel resets the offense to the Bradley Braves. Luke Jackson's been on fire. Luke Jackson has 5 from the field and 10 points here in the first 5.5 minutes of the game.
Jackson, a sophomore, he's the young man who will be back next year. Hawkins won't. Powell won't. But Luke Jackson is a young man who Bradley will build their inside game on for the next couple of years, having an outstanding start so far tonight.
Gerard Coleman at the high post. Ricky Jackson outside, points in the paint. Look at the domination by Bradley. Hollifield gets 2 back for Illinois State. Hollifield now with 5.
Here comes Bradley right at you. While you're celebrating your score, they're coming right back at you.
Manuel nearly threw it away. Hawkins. Good ball movement by Bradley. Knocked out of bounds by Illinois State. It'll belong to the Braves.
You mentioned that Manuel almost threw it away. The amazing thing about Anthony Manuel, for every turnover he has made this year, he's also made 2 3/4 assists. It's a great assist-to-turnover ratio. He just doesn't cough it up.
Manuel gets the step, shovels to Jackson.
In all honesty, how many times have you seen Jackson move out to that foul line and shoot that jumper?
In all honesty, hardly ever.
But that's what tournaments are all about.
Hollifield inside goes to work. He now has 7. Boy, Bradley assembles quickly on offense, don't they?
You have to get back, and it's easier said than done.
Broken up by Coleman, taken by Taphorn. Nearly traveled.
We talked about Illinois State's defensive abilities, but credit Bradley. They have come out with fire in their eyes on defense. They are really getting after it.
Jackson to Hollifield. And the senior Tony Hollifield has 9 points.
Illinois State back very well that time. All 5 guys back in the paint. Eliminated a cheap basket on the fast break on the part of Bradley.
Hawkins.
No
9 for Hershey Hawkins.
No problem with that knee.
Bradley leads by 10. Almost 8 minutes gone by first half. Coleman on the block is fouled by Powell. Number 2 on Donald Powell, only the second team foul on Bradley.
Donald Powell has Gerard Coleman out of the paint, really where he wants him. All he has to do is go up. Tell you what, from this angle, not so sure there was a whole lot of contact on that one, Wayne. Pretty good defense that time by Donald Powell.
Sophomore out of North Chicago, Illinois, Gerard Coleman at the free throw line. Coleman had 13 points, 8 rebounds in the 72-60 win over Drake. Followed that up with just 4 points in the second game of the tournament.
So far in the first 8 minutes, Bradley's defense has created 4 Illinois State turnovers. And their conversion rate at the other end is always very, very good.
Illinois State trying to hang within shouting distance. They trail by 9. You're watching the Bradley Braves, the nation's 12th ranked team.
Watch the Illinois State defense. They'll all be in the paint. They will pick up drivers just like that.
Powell picks up the 3rd foul of the game on Matt Taphorn. 5 team fouls now on the Redbirds. Credit the ball movement here, Mike. Watch this.
Illinois State will get into the paint. They all collapse. Very good. But Manuel does what he does best. Finds the open man. Taphorn reaches. Anthony Manuel made that play by the penetration to the basket.
Donald Powell at the free throw line. He was all-world on Sunday in the victory over Creighton. 25 points, 14 rebounds, 9 of 10 from the line.
To show you his importance to Bradley, the first game when Illinois State won right here in Carver, he got 6. In the return match at Horton Fieldhouse at Illinois State, he gets 20. Bradley wins an OT.
You mentioned he may be a key for Bradley's hopes in the NCAA tournament.
Long range, Powell and Jackson and Jones have to play inside for Bradley to be effective in this game and in the NCAA tournament.
Powell leaves the ball game. Jerry Thomas, number 21, comes back on for Bradley. I should say comes in for the first time tonight.
Thomas, an excellent defender. Can guard out on the floor, can also guard someone in the paint.
One of 5 seniors here in Peoria at Bradley. Illinois State undecided on their substitution. Bob Donwall not happy with his game plan execution thus far, it appears. He didn't like that near mix-up on the substitution.
Coach Donwell probably not real happy with the way the game's going, but I tell you what, they're still within striking distance. They can shoot the three-pointer with anybody in the country.
Especially that man.
Oh, if that man gets hot, the game will get real close.
Holifield inside, draws the foul down low. Holifield has been going to work in the paint. He's been Illinois State's only effective offensive player thus far tonight.
He's quick in there. Nice head and shoulders fake. I think he got away with a little bit of the left arm hook as he took the baseline, but that head and shoulder ball fake was very effective.
Luke Jackson's first personal foul. That is the 3rd on Bradley, and Holifield has 9 points. He's at the line. Boy, he shot the ball well from the free throw stripe of late, as I mentioned. 76.7% from the free throw line in the last 11 games for this young man.
Against Bradley 2 times this year, 23 and 17.
Pushes it across in a hurry. Hawkins guarded by Ricky Jackson.
Whenever he touches the ball, he'll be looking at 2 to 3 Illinois State defenders.
Jackson finally misses, and Holifield claims the carry. Ricky Jackson. Coleman. Gerard Coleman on the follow.
How about that for an Illinois State fast break? You don't see that very often.
Manuel for 3. No, they give him 2. He had a foot on the line.
Boy, they don't give up anything. If you score on them, they're right back at you, evening the score.
9-point lead for Bradley. The Redbirds of Illinois State on the attack. 11 minutes left to go first half. Jeff Harris traveled. first half. It's been all Bradley thus far.
Illinois State 6 for 11. Bradley 10 of 16. 4 or 5 of those have been tail end layups off the Bradley fast break. Rebounds 6 apiece. The real key factor, Bradley's defense, creating 5 turnovers on the part of Illinois State.
And the points off turnovers you see on the screen.
And man, have they converted. They've converted 4 of those 5 turnovers to hoops. Who would have expected that from Bradley? We were looking for that from Illinois State.
Bradley leads it by 9. Braves have the ball. Manuel lapse in concentration for a moment. Hawkins on the block. Oh my goodness.
He's amazing. As many times as we have seen him play this year, I still love to watch him play because he's just an amazing athlete with tremendous body control.
He posts up on the block like he's 6'10".
High school center.
Hawkins defensively right there. Peterson has not done much offensively. Hollifield has.
That's the guy that can lead them offensively. Get the ball in the paint. Peterson, he's not going to look to score. He's going to do the dirty work. He's going to rebound and play defense. Hollifield's a man inside, along with Gerard Coleman.
Gary Thomas. Peterson on the rebound.
That's what he does best, an important part of this team, the dirty work.
Hollifield, he's had the hot hand. Hawkins on the rebound to Manuel. 3 on 2 to Jackson. No. Offensive foul. No basket.
I'll tell you what, the difference in that play, even though he gets the charge, Jackson's 6'8", Harris is 6'3". How is Harris going to stop him? The big men for Bradley run the floor so well. And they don't stop coming at you, Wayne. That charge will not back off Mr. Jackson. He'll be down the next time.
A chance for Illinois State to climb back to within 7. Good hands by Hollifield. Now he's double teamed. Taken away by Jerry Thomas. Manuel. Thomas. Stripped away by Blair. This is Jeff Harris. Boy, that Bradley defense has hounded every inch of the floor. Peterson is blocked by Trimpe, and the foul called on Trevor Trimpe, his first and the 5th on the team.
Trevor Trimpe just did not cut him off on the baseline that time. He needs to play this baseline stronger. He doesn't get all the way over. He's still moving. Good refereeing crew, as we said earlier, right on top of that play.
Harris must be watched beyond the 3-point line.
Manuel's quick enough to give him problems. If he doesn't, Harris will fill it out.
Harris with the elbow. Offensive foul called. First on Harris. That is 16 fouls now on the Redbirds.
It seems Bradley has made an adjustment after Harris has played so well in the first 2 games. They put the smaller, quicker Manuel on Jeff Harris. Harris can't beat him with his quickness. He tries to get an advantage with the arm, the elbow, gets the foul.
Harris had 10 in the first game. He came back with 14 in the second.
He had a big 10 at the crucial part of the game on Saturday afternoon.
Steal by Jackson. Harris.
Manuel not giving Harris an inch. Good defense by Anthony Manuel.
Harris over Manuel.
Talked Jeff Harris right into that one, didn't we?
Those statistics I mentioned were Harris against Bradley in the earlier games this season. Hawkins has it slapped away by Jackson. Illinois State, after being down by as many as 11, back to within 7 points. Into the ball game, Paul Wilson back on for Bradley, replacing Trevor Trimpe. And it won't be long before we'll see Donald Powell, I'm sure.
Well, Jerry Thomas has done an excellent job off the bench. He's gotten a couple of rebounds. He pushed the ball up the floor, had a nice steal. Wilson can come in and give you offensive firepower. Good defender with very good quickness and size.
Manuel's 3-point try. Blair to Harris.
Harris used that move so well Saturday afternoon from the wing, taking the baseline. That time Manuel cut him off with quickness.
Peterson posting up. Holofield trying to keep it alive, and the quick Anthony Manuel right on it. To Hawkins. Peterson is there. Hawkins wanted a call. He didn't get it. Holofield. Offensive foul. No basket.
I'll tell you what, Bradley now has brought Illinois State into their fast break game. Illinois State a little more patience maybe. They're getting into an up and down game, which isn't their ball game.
Second personal foul on Holofield. Now 17 fouls on the Redbirds. 7:37 to go in the half. Bradley still on top. A look at the shooting from the field. Illinois State up a little bit more, and then points in the paint. Illinois State coming back there thanks to Tony Holofield, who has 12 points, all of which have come in the paint.
And he has done exactly what you said. He has brought Illinois State back by becoming a dominant factor in there. He has to maintain it. He has to be able to counter Luke Jackson, who has gotten off to a tremendous start here in the first half.
Here's Hawkins, been relatively quiet. Jackson knocks it away again. That's the second time in a row he's done that.
Bradley, 52% for the field. Illinois State hot in the last 5 or 6 minutes, Dwayne. Really have been able to convert in the paint.
Wilson to Manuel. Bradley leading by 7. Manuel for 3. Peterson crashing the boards with Harris. Nothing but red shirts around the ball.
They can keep Peterson up on that glass, eliminating the second shot, and they can convert like they have down here with Holofield offensively.
Peterson had 11 rebounds in Sunday's victory over Wichita State.
The game will get closer if those two things happen.
Harris. Jerry Thomas on the board. The lead, Jackson from Manuel.
4 times Jackson out on the break, beats everybody down the floor. He lost 1 hoop on the charge, but he never quit. He came right back at him.
Bradley's lead is 9. Illinois State on the attack. Holofield against Jackson, had it tipped away, picked up by Peterson. Jerry Thomas cleans up for Bradley. Here comes Manuel to Wilson. For 3. An air ball. Luke Jackson over the back of Holofield. And he picks up the foul. Number 3 on Luke Jackson. 6 on the team.
Dan Albeck couldn't believe that call. Bob Donewald, no comment. Let's see if Holofield does not, if he goes underneath Jackson. Yes, he does. He got underneath Luke Jackson. You can see the look on Luke's face. That will hurt, Wayne. This young man off to a great start, ran the floor perfectly. He's on the bench now. It's tough to convert at the tail end of the fast break from over there with Coach Stan Albeck.
7 field goals, 14 points for Luke Jackson, and I dare say he'll be out the remaining 6:04 of the first half. Redbirds a chance to climb back to within 7. Harris on the drive. Coleman gets it back. 7 points for Gerard. Bradley right back at it offensively.
Donald Powell now in the middle. Let's see.
What a pass to Powell, and the foul is called. Man, that Anthony Manuel, he will thread passes through the lane that most point guards won't even see.
We look for Powell to pick up the slack when Luke Jackson sat down. And you're right, Manuel gets you the ball as you get open, not after you get open. And that's the difference between the average point guard and the top of the line point guard right there. He delivered on the money.
Gerard Coleman's first personal foul. Donald Powell has 2 shots at the line.
Boy, Donald not off to a good start. He had a bang-up ball game Sunday afternoon. He was really a factor.
For one thing, he was 9 of 10 from the foul line Sunday. He's 1 out of 3 tonight. 1 out of 4.
And if Bradley has an Achilles heel, it's their big guys at the foul line. They've struggled all year long.
Blair with nowhere to go. Bradley basketball.
Bradley's pressure wane, bothering full court early in the ball game. Half court right there, bothering Illinois State.
Manuel against the youngster Blair. Hawkins.
Look at this defense, 4 of them on the Hawk.
Jerry Thomas. Good ball movement by Bradley. Manuel back at the point. Up for grabs. Powell. It was anybody's ball, and they let him play.
Donald Powell working hard. The right time at the right place.
The lead once again is 9 for Bradley. 4:45 to go, first half. Ricky Jackson, not much of an outside shooter.
Look for the ball in Jeff Harris's hand. A little two-man game with Coleman low. Peterson low.
Ill-advised pass by Blair, intercepted by Powell. Manuel to Thomas.
Blair went for the steal. When you miss the steal on Bradley, out on the floor, Wayne, they're going to go all the way.
That equals the largest lead of the evening for the Braves at 11 points. Coleman to quiet the crowd, and he does.
Rod Coleman a little out of his range, but history goes by the wayside when you get to the tournament finals. Players find ways to do things they haven't done all year long in a ball game like this.
Wilson for 3, way outside. Hawkins the rebound. Had it stripped away, picked up by Powell.
Powell in the ball game for Luke Jackson with foul trouble. Very, very strong player inside the last couple times down the floor. Big basket.
Harris for 3. Powell on the rebound. Anthony Manuel. Wilson. Thomas. Great ball movement by Bradley.
Bodies everywhere.
Randy Blair. Jackson in the corner. Looking for help. Peterson on the block. Against Powell. Yes, it counts in a foul.
Illinois State reacting to the situation. Anthony Manuel has taken Jeff Harris out of the offense. So what do? They go inside to Cliff Peterson. The senior, known for his rebounding, defensive effort, has become an offensive player. Nice move by Cliff Peterson.
Paul Wilson's first personal foul, now 7 on the team with 2:58 to go, first half. Illinois State trailing by 9. Peterson can make it an 8-point deficit right here. What we got? Donald Powell is grabbing control of the boards, literally.
Excellent last 5 minutes out of Donald Powell for the Bradley Braves.
Hawkins for 3. Ricky Jackson breaks out of there.
Hawkins has really been silent since he came back in when we thought he hurt his knee over in the corner. Got off to a great start offensively. Been very silent for Hersey Hawkins.
Has 11 first half points.
It's a good night's work for most people. For the Hawks, that's silence.
Coleman over Powell. Hawkins up high for the rebound to Manuel. Jerry Thomas. Redbirds crash the board. Peterson another rebound.
Peterson's been the man inside for Illinois State at both ends of the floor.
Hollifield. 14 for Tony Hollifield.
3 seniors out there: Harris, Hollifield, Peterson. So far, Peterson and Hollifield have delivered. Bradley's done an excellent job on Jeff Harris defensively.
They have not been able to stop Donald Powell in the last 5 minutes. He now has 7 points.
So if you're Bradley, you don't miss Luke Jackson.
Jackson on the bench with 3 personal fouls.
And 14 points.
Powell has 2 personal fouls. Harris on the baseline drive. Jackson takes the back tap. 9 3-point Bradley lead. Less than 2 minutes to go.
Illinois State going to go back inside right there.
Coleman did not take advantage. Bradley basketball. 1:07 left to be played, first half. Bradley will have the ball when we return. Mike Pratt in Peoria, Illinois. Carver Arena, the Peoria Civic Center, the Missouri Valley Conference postseason championship game. 12th ranked Bradley leading Illinois State by 9 with 1:07 left to go, first half, and Bradley will have the ball when we resume. Been a lot for the Bradley crowd to cheer about here thus far in the first half. They have really cranked it into high gear.
The Illinois State people that are here, there's quite a few of them. Their team has come back, and they're back in the ballgame. This is a fantastic crowd. SRO, and no one sitting on their hands. Everybody standing.
Turnovers have really hurt Illinois State.
That's a big number.
Turnover.
Huh?
Yep.
Oh, that's a big number.
Anthony Manuel. Bradley resumes offensively. Trevor Trimpe yet to score here tonight. Great three-point marksman. Manuel wants to go to Hawkins. He's covered by Coleman right now. They switch. Jones, hard off the glass, was fouled by Derek Stokes. Stokes is a tight end, a defensive end on the football team. He joined the Redbird squad after the St. Louis game in December.
I don't think there's any question about that foul. But did you notice when Hawkins got the ball? Yesterday at a luncheon, Coach Bob Donewald was asked how he was going to defend Hersey Hawkins. He said simply, with everybody at the luncheon laughed at that time, and just about every time the Hawk gets the ball, he has 3 to 4 Illinois State players waiting for him.
Greg Jones is a poor free throw shooter at 35%. He's 0 for 4, 0 for 5 now in the tournament. Cliff Peterson coming back on in place of Derek Stokes. It's a brief stint for the tight end.
Well, it's kind of like in sending in for one playing football, huh?
Yeah.
Here's the Bradley press, very effective in the opening 5 minutes of the ball game.
No shot clock now. 10-point lead, Bradley. Jackson penetrates. Peterson. 8-point game. Plenty of time for Bradley. 25 seconds to go. 23, as you can see in the lower right-hand corner of your screen.
Watch Peterson on Hawkins. Boy, is he playing some defense. He knows the Hawk is going to take this last-second shot.
Bradley trying to free up Hawkins.
And Peterson trying to keep him pinned in.
Manuel settles for a three-point try. Ricky Jackson with time winding down. Bradley Braves have thrown what appears to be a big shot at the Illinois State after this. Wayne Larrivee and Mike Pratt, we're back at Carver Arena. Mike, let's talk about this first half of play. I think Bradley threw a big shot at Illinois State. Maybe their best shot thus far in the tournament.
I tell you what, we talked the last 2 days about Illinois State and their defense, right? Everyone's talked about it, what it can do to Bradley. But hey, what did Bradley's pressing defense full court do to Illinois State to start out? That was amazing. They came out with fire in their eyes. Their feet were moving. I mean, this was like we were playing the NCAA championship game right here tonight. I was really impressed with Bradley defense. I think it stunned Illinois State.
But at the same time, Illinois State, a team that mirrors the personality of its coach, did not panic. They hung in there. They trailed by just 8 at halftime.
Excellent point. Coach Bob Donewald, a super coach. His team, seniors, they're experienced. They hung right in, as you said. I didn't expect them to fold. I don't think you did either. They've clawed back into the ball game. What they have to do now is continue to peck away at Bradley, get back a little better on defense, and they'll be right in the ball game at the end.
All right, let me ask the truck for a moment. Let's go to the action right here. Watch the hounding defense of Cliff Peterson in red on Hersey Hawkins in right.
We talked about this the last 30 seconds. Everybody knew who was going to shoot the ball. Peterson, what an effort. I mean, not everybody can make an effort like this. Look, he loses him, comes back and finds him. That's nothing but effort. you got to tip your hat to a man like Cliff Peterson. That's why he's important to Illinois State.
Well, for the last 2 years, Cliff Peterson has been Illinois State's MVP on defense, and he's showing a little of the reason why in that first half tonight. Hawkins with 11 points. He could explode in the second half. We'll return to Carver Arena after this word from Pepsi. This Olympic team, this Bud's for you.
Anthony Manuel shows you why he leads this team in assists, one of the top point guards in the country. Luke Jackson inside for 2 of his 14. Percy Hawkins plays so well without the basketball. Watch him work. He knows that Anthony Manuel can deliver when he gets open. Watch this body control. No charge, 2 points. Percy Hawkins. Ricky Jackson, a break of his own for Illinois State. Probably surprised he could take it all the way. Luke Jackson challenging him. Gerard Coleman, right time, right place. 2 for Illinois State. Tony Hollifield, big tournament for the senior. Here he shows you why he's the best offensive inside player for the Illinois State Redbirds. 2 of his 14 with a nice turnaround bank shot.
We're at halftime at Carver Arena. The Hawk and the Braves leading the Redbirds. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Wade Larrivee with Mike Pratt. We're ready for the halftime statistics. It is Bradley leading here at halftime over Illinois State. The most interesting first half, and that Hersey Hawkins really has not taken off as of yet.
He has not had a typical Hersey Hawkins night. He's 11 in the first half, but for most people, that's a heck of a first half. The fact is he bruised his knee early in the first half. He did play extremely well in the first 5 minutes. He came back, he just looked a little out of sync, Wayne. This guy, though, has had bad first half, and then he really comes on strong.
All right. Again, as you take a look at the first half, Wayne Larrivee with Mike Pratt, and as you take a look at the first half of play here in Peoria, Illinois State may have taken Bradley's best shot of the night. It was pretty impressive, and let's take a look at the statistics about this first half of play. There you get a look at the shooting.
Surprising number, 46 for Bradley, because early in the ball game they got so many fast break points that I thought that their percentage would be higher, but they have 9 more field goal attempts.
There you go, the free throw situation. Bradley 5 and 9. You mentioned that's an Achilles heel with their big men.
Certainly is, and neither team setting the world on fire. They both need to improve that number.
3-point shooting no factor.
Inside points, 28 for Bradley, 24 for Illinois State. Big number, turnovers, 11 by Illinois State, 4 by Bradley. You would have thought that it would have been flip-flop because of Illinois State's defense. Bradley, everybody knows they can fast break. They have 10 off the fast break. Illinois State, none. Assists, 12 for Bradley. Anthony Manuel leads the way there. 5 for Illinois State.
Get a look at the individuals for you. There's Hollifield leading the way. He's 12 of, make that 6 of 7 from the field, has 14 points. And then Coleman with the 9 points. Gerard Coleman in the first half, 4 of 5 from the field. Let's take a look at the Bradley Braves. Leading the way right there is Luke Jackson, 7 of 8 from the field. He has 14 points, 3 personal fouls, however. Hawkins, 4 of 10 shooting for the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 0 for 2 from 3-point range. He has 11 points, 2 steals, and 4 rebounds. Anthony Manuel has 9 assists in the first half of play. There are the Bradley Braves.
9 assists. He's averaging 12 a game. Again, the number that impresses me the most. For every turnover he makes, he gets just short of 3 assists. On the ball game, he has 1 turnover and 9 assists. Boy, would you just love to play with a guy like that. I mean, hey, I'd love to go back and have somebody like that passing to me. What about you?
Yeah, I'll tell you, he makes, you know, a couple of plays that he made on the fast break. He just makes people better than they are, especially, you know, a guy like Luke Jackson. He got out a little bit on the break. Manuel put the ball on the money, and it looked like he was ahead of the field and off to the races.
Watch him. The minute he gets the ball, the head is up. He's not concerned with where the ball is at, concerned with the floor. He is concerned with where his teammates are at. The head is up. The eyes are searching the floor. He knows right off the bat, Wayne, who he's going to throw the ball to. Then he lets the defense come to him.
Illinois State resumes offensively to start the second half. They trail by 8. Bradley opened up impressively, scoring the first 9 points of the game.
And their defense did it. Let's see how they approach the second half defensively, because that was the key in the first 5 minutes.
Peterson not sure about that shot. Jackson with his first rebound of the night, believe it or not. Very important, the opening 5 minutes of the second half for the Redbirds. They have to hang in. Donald Powell left wide open.
Great pass by Anthony Manuel. Powell let the defense shift. He came in behind the defense. Manuel found him.
Double-digit lead now for Bradley.
Key defensive matchup in the first half was Anthony Manuel on Jeff Harris. Took him out of Illinois State's offensive patterns.
Jackson claims his second rebound. Manuel penetrates to Powell. They want a goaltending call. One of the Redbirds was on the rim. We'll watch it again.
Watch the Illinois State player's hand after the shot grab onto the rim. Here's the shot. There you see him hanging on the rim.
Hollifield came up on the rim, and Stan Albeck wants goaltending called here. Now there's a foul on the play already.
Right there, folks. Donald Powell points it out. Stan Albeck on the sideline still talking to the referees. Just one that they missed, that's all. Tough job, referee.
Ricky Jackson's first foul. That ball will belong to the Bradley Braves. Jackson's first foul of the game, first foul of the second half.
Well, I tell you, the fans, they have not let up since they hit this building about 6:37 o'clock, Wayne.
This is Hawkins. He creates so well.
Boy, did he step between the two defenders. Two defenders cut him off just like you would want if you were coaching Illinois State. He slices between them, finds the hoop.
Redbirds have been outscored 4-0 to open the second half. Something they could ill afford to have happen.
They really miss Jeff Harris shooting the ball from the outside. He's an important part.
Harris bottled up and fouled by Manuel. That is Manuel's first personal foul, the first on Bradley here in the second half.
That young man right there has done an excellent defensive job on Jeff Harris. He's applied his quickness advantage to overcome a size advantage for Harris. And he's really taken Harris out of that offense. Harris 1 for 8 from the field, and he's had a fantastic tournament until tonight.
Peterson had it stripped and a foul called as Hawkins reached in on Hersey. His first, that is the second on the Bradley Braves. Non-shooting affair. Almost 2 minutes in, second half. Redbirds yet to score. This is Harris. Powell the rebound. Hollifield the foul. His third personal foul. And Tony Hollifield, as we mentioned at halftime, at 14 points in the first half. Bob Donwalt going to have to make a substitution he didn't want to make.
Hollifield's the guy who can score with his back to the basket down at the block area. He also can get to the foul line. And as you very well said in the first half, his foul shooting's been excellent of late.
Ricky Jackson hounding Hawkins away from the ball, picks up a foul. His second, third on Illinois State.
That man's not happy at all. Let's check the defense here. Jackson on Hawkins. Goes over the top very well. If he chested him, if he used his chest on him, we did not have the angle to catch it, but it looked like pretty good defense.
Powell off the mark. Harris took it away from Jackson, and Luke Jackson, that is. Ricky Jackson picked up.
Ricky Jackson doing a good job adjusting to this point guard position, but offensively, he hasn't been a factor, Wayne, except at the foul line.
Taphorn for three. His first scoring of the game.
Illinois State, a very good three-point shooting team. They can get Taphorn and Harris going from that three-point range. Look out.
Hollifield is still in the lineup with 3 personal fouls.
Well, for Illinois State, if they don't win tonight, there probably is no NCAA.
So you have to go with a guy like Tony Hollowfield and tell him simply, play it smart, young man. We need you.
They're going to Powell right away. Luke Jackson.
Boy, what a combination Powell and Jackson can make in the NCAA tournament. Those two guys as bookends down at the block could take Bradley a long way in the 2A tournament.
Harris trying to feed Hollowfield. Manuel knocked it out of bounds. It'll belong to Illinois State.
Again, Manuel coming up with a very key defensive play. He's been silent on offense throughout the tournament, but his running of the show, his passing, and now his defense have been excellent.
Harris for three. Peterson. The foul is on Luke Jackson. Hawkins blocked the ball cleanly. Jackson apparently leaned in with the body. Luke Jackson has 4 personal fouls, 3 team fouls. Watch it again from the baseline.
I think you made the call right. It's with the body. I think the block is clean.
Nope, he hacked him with the arm.
He hasn't got a complaint there. He's got to put the hammer on him.
Now a substitution to Stan Albeck doesn't want to make. Luke Jackson with 4 personal fouls has to sit on the bench. Big difference between 4 and 3 as Hollowfield is still on the floor with 3 personal fouls.
There certainly is, but if they can get the production, the performance out of Donald Powell here in the second half, like they did in the first half when Jackson took a seat, Bradley's in business.
Illinois State has done a good job throughout this tournament on hitting free throws. They hit all 12 down the stretch to hold off Wichita State in the semifinals. Manuel the rebound. Manuel. Jerry Thomas. The foul coming up. Looked like Peterson. It is Cliff Peterson, and it's his second.
Thomas, excellent job of offside rebounding. Peterson, no doubt about it, reaching foul.
4 team fouls now on Illinois State.
What Jerry Thomas brings to this team is defense. We saw him shut down a very good guard at Southern Illinois, Steve Middleton, about a week ago. Got nice size, does a good job inside offensively for Bradley.
Thomas has 4 points. Bradley with the backcourt pressure. Hollowfield. Pephorn. Here comes Manuel and the Bradley break. Thomas. Yes.
Oh, what a nice pass from Donald Powell. Manuel to Powell. Powell saw he didn't have a pass to the basket. He lays it off to Jerry Thomas.
Largest lead of the evening for Bradley at 14. Hollowfield hard off the glass, quiets the crowd. He has 16.
Hollowfield shows you what it means to be a senior. Did not let the crowd bother him. Big basket.
Play intended for Hawkins, taken away by Taphorn.
If Illinois State has one strength, is that they play well together. They've got a lot of seniors, and they don't become rattled.
Taphorn. Harris. That's Jackson now. Taphorn. Good ball movement by Illinois State. Peterson over Powell. Well-run offensive sequence for the Redbirds, and they're back to within 10 with 4 unanswered points.
There's the experience coming to the head right there. Taphorn, Peterson seniors, Harris a senior, Hollowfield a senior. They turned it over, and they got what they wanted.
Hawkins is fouled out front. Looked like Ricky Jackson slapping down on the ball. And Jackson picks up his 3rd personal foul. 5th on the team. All 3 of those personal fouls on Jackson have come here in the second half. 14:57 left to be played. Bradley leading in the championship by 10. Wayne Larrivee and Mike Frank, glad to have you with us from coast to coast. The Missouri Valley Conference Tournament Championship. There we go. Bradley in possession offensively, leading by 10 with 14:57 left to go. There's the field goal story in this half. Inbounds to Thomas from Trippy. Trippy on the tap.
Boy, Bradley pounds that board. If it's not Powell or Jackson or Thomas, there's a guy like Trevor Trempy comes in and gets a putback from the weak side. Bradley's on top of their game tonight.
Taphorn for three. On the rebound, Donald Powell picks up the foul. His third personal foul. That is the fourth on Bradley. So now you have Luke Jackson with 4, Donald Powell with 3 personal fouls, and Stan Albeck has a lot to think about.
Well, and unfortunately, their big guys are really playing basketball. You name all of them. Powell, Jackson, Trempy, Thomas, they've all given Bradley a lift when they've had the opportunity. Now that bench gets a little shorter for Bradley. Just a little shorter with foul trouble.
Taphorn on the move. Nicely done. He has 5 points, all in the second half.
And playing on a very bad knee. This young man, in Coach Bob Donowell's terms, the knee could go in any minute. They just hope to get him through this year. Courageous young man.
6 minutes gone by, second half. Bradley leads by 10, and they have the ball. Hawkins has hardly seen the ball since the opening 10 minutes of the first half. Jackson trying to deny the interior feed to Hawkins, picks up the foul. One thing Hawkins will do, even when he's not scoring, he makes you work defensively, and Ricky Jackson's picked up 4 personal fouls in this half alone.
Watch Hawkins run Ricky Jackson through a series of picks. That was one. We missed the first couple ones. That was about the 3rd or 4th pick that Ricky Jackson had to negotiate, Wayne. When you have to go through that many picks, it takes its toll.
Now the sophomore Randy Blair from Peoria will try to defend Hawkins. He was no match in the first half when he was trying to defend Manuel. There's Hawkins for 3.
He's playing right now with a deep thigh bruise above his right knee. He did not get untracked in the first half after having that injury. This shot may get him going.
And if it does, it's over. Harris. Cliff Peterson left wide open on the perimeter. Harris picked up by Manuel. Good move at the baseline by Coleman. He has 11.
It's amazing what Illinois State's inside people have done with guys like Harris not scoring from the outside. Because when they're not scoring, that allows the defense to fall back in the laps of the inside players, and they still scored.
Trempy freed up. Trempy did not score in the first half. He has 4 second half points.
An unusual 2 points for Trevor Trempy. The reason being, he scores better from 3-point, has a better shooting percentage from the 3-point range.
Taphorn trying to answer with 3. It is last touched by Bradley, will belong to Illinois State. And you saw Jerry Thomas try to screen the Redbird defender on that play. Thomas thought it was last touched by Illinois State.
Watch Jerry Thomas. Does a good job. Too close for us to call. We didn't have a good angle here, but credit Thomas. He was playing hands up. I'm certain he wouldn't play it that way if he would have touched it.
Looked like maybe Gerard Coleman knocked it out. And I think that's what Thomas thought. Peterson off the mark. Trempy the rebound.
Look at Manuel. The minute he gets the ball, the head is up. The eyes are searching the floor.
Powell. Largest lead of the evening. Bradley ball.
Look for Illinois State to use a timeout right here. The crowd is up. They coughed it up a couple times.
11:53 left to go, and Bradley beginning to pull away. Back in Peoria at the Civic Center, Carver Arena, where Bradley holds the upper hand. I'm Wayne Larrivee, along with Mike Pratt and Jim Haney, the commissioner of the Missouri Valley Conference. Welcome, Jim.
Nice to be here, Wayne. Quite a ball game.
It's been a great ball game thus far.
Fiercely competed for. It's a great championship right now.
You've got three teams that look like they may be right there for the NCAA. Certainly Bradley. Got to hope Wichita gets an opportunity with 20 wins. And this Illinois State team has come a long way.
But that's really true. Wichita, lost their first 3 games in overtime. One of those to Purdue, and since then have been 20-6. So we really feel good about Wichita and not only their chances of getting in, but having success once they get in the tournament.
Bob Donwald and Illinois State had won 10 of their last 11 coming in, or 10 of their last 12 coming into this game. So they're playing their best basketball of the year right now, although they trail in this one to the powerful Bradley Braves.
Well, Wayne, a game like this between these two teams certainly can't hurt Wichita State because they played both these teams well and have beaten Illinois State.
11.5 minutes left to go. It's do or die time for the Redbirds.
Well, they're not going to crack. They have too many seniors. They've been down this road before. They're going to stick to their knitting right now. They'll be back.
Hollifield. 18 points for Hollifield.
Right there is why they come back. Harris to Hollifield inside.
Manuel for 3.
And Bradley, you can't relax. They run it right back at you.
Illinois State offensively. Harris on the drive. Rebound back tap by Powell to Thomas. Here comes Manuel. Hersey Hawkins for 3. Brick. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Bradley. And a foul on Trevor Trimpe. Pushing foul on Trimpe. Watch this now as he bumps with Harris.
Harris won't let Trimpe get out on him. Trimpe, he's got a death grip on Jeff Harris at that point. I'll tell you what. Oh, that one right there is what Ron saw coming from behind. And there's no doubt about that.
Stan Olbeck on the Bradley bench. Almost halfway through second half. The Braves are leading here by 16 points. Redbirds resume. Peterson in the paint. Manuel gets the rebound. Manuel.
Well, he's come alive offensively here in the second half. The first half, he did it with assists. He had 2 points. But I'll tell you what, in the last 5 minutes, he has come alive offensively.
The lead is 18 for Bradley. Hollifield in traffic. Tony Hollifield continues to be the only offensive weapon for the Redbirds. Taphorn with a great try defensively. Broken up in the play by Jackson. Taken by Taphorn. Hollifield one-on-one with Powell. Powell claims the rebound.
This is not the game Illinois State wants to get into.
Thomas is fouled. Peterson picks it up.
The up and down game, like we just saw, is not the game Illinois State wants to get into.
9:43 left to go, and Illinois State now has 17 fouls.
Jerry Thomas. He took it to Cliff Peterson. Cliff Peterson did not back up an inch. No doubt about the foul.
Jerry Thomas with 6 points, 4 of which have come in the second half. Thomas gets another. 9:43 left to go. Bradley about to break this one open. The Redbirds need a run.
And they're doing it without Luke Jackson, who has had an outstanding game on the bench. 4 fouls. Donald Powell, hot in the first half, cooled down now, but the guy who's picked up the slack, little Anthony Manuel and Trevor Trimpe.
I mentioned Illinois State has to get on a run. What they don't want to do is get into a running game with Bradley.
They have to convert and stop Bradley, but they don't have to go up and down because that up and down game is Bradley's game.
Taphorn, good feed. Peterson gets it back. One more time, and this time he's fouled. Trevor Trimpe, third personal on Trimpe, 6 on the team. The game extremely physical in this second half.
I'll tell you, Taphorn makes a great pass, draws the defense. Here's Cliff Peterson, just slips out of his hands, but watch him go back. I'll tell you,
I'll tell you what, that young man right there, I was talking with the athletic director at Illinois State, Ron Wellman. Ron told me today at lunch that this young man, Cliff Peterson, is unbelievable as a human being. He's really high on him. And I'll tell you, he showed you right there what kind of player he is.
Here comes Manuel again for three.
The little man shows you what that three-point play can do to you.
His second three-pointer of the second half. He has 10 points in the game, and Bradley's lead is 19. Peterson.
There's Peterson answering Anthony Manuel. Manuel now 8 points in the second half. The leader of the offensive charge for the Bradley Braves.
Manuel to Powell. They continue to execute. We thought that first 10 minutes of the first half may have been the best shot Bradley could deliver. The second half has been just as effective. Tapborn for three. Trevor Trimpe the rebound for Bradley.
Illinois State cold from the perimeter. They've been that way all night.
Hawkins lost the handle on it, knocked out of bounds. Great hustle still for Illinois State, and Bradley and Bob Donwald on the bench.
Bradley
Problems to ponder.
Bradley 66 points, Wayne, and Hawkins not an extraordinary night.
16 points for Hawkins thus far. Gerard Coleman back on for Illinois State. And leaving the ball game for a break is Cliff Peterson, playing on a tender ankle, but you wouldn't know it the way he's been hustling.
What a game he's had, particularly here in the second half. He's not quitting. His team on the verge of getting blown out. He's right in there.
Hersey Hawkins. Foul is on Jackson. He can't believe it. Jackson is out of here. 5 personal fouls, all in the second half. Did not score.
Bob Donwald going to have to come back now with Jeff Harris, who has not had an exceptional offensive night.
Oh, man.
There was a lot of body contact, but it wasn't Ricky Jackson.
Jackson was wronged. You don't see Ed Hightower miss a call like that very often. He's one of the best in the business.
I think Ed got blocked off that time by the two Illinois State defenders that were between him and Hawkins. And Ricky Jackson looked like a guy who might have reached in, but in reality didn't.
Hawkins at the line, 16 points, which for him is a quiet night. He averages 36 a game, the nation's leading scorer. First team All-America on the U.S. Basketball Writers Association team. Interesting story about Hawkins. While an assistant at Bradley, Creighton coach Tony Barone helped to recruit Hawkins. They had questions. They didn't know if he could shoot it well enough, if he could dribble it. Hersey visited Bradley on his own, didn't even have an official visit, and chose Bradley over Eastern Washington.
I'll tell you what, that goes down in the recruiting annals as an all-timer.
Blair to Coleman. Jerry Thomas there. Manuel. 7:45 to go. It has been all Bradley in the second half.
Where would Eastern Washington be today with Hersey Hawkins? Huh?
Thomas comes up short. Powell gets it back. Thomas comes in again and commits a foul this time. His first, that is 17 fouls now on Bradley, so both sides over the limit with 7:36 to go.
Referee Ron Zetcher right on top of things. None of the referees letting anything get carried away right now with 7 minutes to go in an emotional game like this. They're right on top of things.
The reason this is a good officiating crew, Mike, is because none of these officials can be intimidated by a coach or a crowd.
Excellent point.
Players.
Excellent point.
Thomas, who missed a pair at the line a moment ago, converts on his first.
If you're coach staying all back, you have to be very, very happy. Your team up in a game like this. And Hawkins, not the dominant offensive player.
8 points for Jerry Thomas. 7:36 to go. Standing ovation in Peoria for the Braves, and the Redbirds have some catching up to do. Conference Tournament championship game. Hersey Hawkins with 18 points now needs 21 to break Oscar Robertson's all-time Missouri Valley Conference career scoring record. He wanted to do it here in Peoria. We still have 7:36 to go. I would say if I was speaking of a normal player, I would say he's not going to do it tonight. But the fact is, Hersey Hawkins can explode at any time, and he's still capable of catching the record.
There's no doubt about that, but I think the real story here tonight, no one would have guessed that this game would be 23 points at this time, or 23-point lead at the end of the ball game either. It's been Bradley's defense and Bradley's inside game.
Taphorn nearly traveled. Illinois State resumes. Blair got the baseline.
Good quickness, turned the corner. Bradley's defense that time did not react or rotate over. He got a dead one.
The feed to Hawkins. Good hands by Hersey. Had it blocked in the traffic. Blair on the run for Illinois State. Good feed to Holofield from Blair.
Holofield that time beat Bradley back down the floor. And Blair, what a pass that was, huh?
Marvelous pass by Blair. Looked like manual. Away from the ball. It's very physical, and Blair is called for a foul. His first. Von Donwall just can't understand that call. Watch it in isolation.
Randy Blair has the size and the quickness to stay with Hawkins, but he gets caught up in the Donald Powell pick and tries to help himself with a reach.
18 points for Hawkins. He has not missed from the free throw stripe. He's had to work for every point he's gotten. He's been hounded all night. He's hit 6 in a row from the foul line.
Illinois State continues to put him on the foul line.
Hawkins with his second upcoming.
I want to finish that statement. If they continue to put him on the foul line, he'll catch Oscar because he's a tremendous foul shooter.
Holofield breaks away. The feed, Harris. Rebound in the lane, Holofield. Oh, the determination is still there for the Redbirds.
Holofield, Peterson, what a job they have done tonight. Two seniors
Showing a great deal of heart.
They don't want this to be their last game, Wayne, and they haven't given up.
They'll go to the NIT. There isn't much question about that if they lose here tonight.
No doubt about that. Maybe outside chance at NCAA.
Hawkins draws the foul, and Holofield is jumping up and down. He can't believe it. .609 to go. Technical foul is called on Holofield.
This is one of the games in a situation like this that you don't try to embarrass intentionally or unintentionally the referee.
Hawkins at the line.
Ron Zetzer is an excellent referee, and he didn't like the reaction of Tony Holofield that time to his call.
Hawkins' first miss from the line tonight. Hawkins with the tee. He now has 22 points. 74-53. Bradley, and the Braves will get it back. Jeff Harris leaves, and reporting back on is Cliff Peterson. 6 minutes left to go. Hawkins from the outside. He has not had a real good shooting night. Randy Blair drops it off for Holofield in traffic. Coleman bumping with Peterson. That was an awful quick call for travel.
Neither player ever had control of that ball. Hollifield again. Illinois State going inside to him. They have confidence in him. He's trying to bring them back.
.5:35 to go. Bradley leading by 21.
Jackson really felt the double team that time, or Powell, excuse me, and gave it up very nicely inside.
Bradley, unlike a lot of teams that push the basketball up the floor, can set up effectively on offense. Hawkins for three.
He'll catch him. He'll catch Oscar.
14 points away from breaking Oscar Robertson's career scoring record. Coleman, tap won't go for Taphorn. Here comes the Hawk. That should be offensive, and it is. Hawkins racing the clock in an effort to catch Robertson in Peoria.
Tried to go coast to coast. You would have liked to see him pull up at the foul line and stop it, hit the jump shot, but he chooses to go all the way. And Blair is right there in great defensive position.
Two reasons he probably didn't pull up, Mike. Number one, he's not having a good shooting night from the outside. Number two, it's his nature to go to the basket, and he seems to always be able to weave into the lane, go to the basket without incurring a foul.
Good point.
Hollifield blocked on the play, and a foul coming up against Bradley's Hersey Hawkins. Hawkins' third personal foul.
Coach Stan Allback got a kick out of that one. He thought he had the defensive rotation. You see for yourself. No, I don't think he's there. Not a step off.
Tony Hollifield at the free throw line. He has 24 points in his last Missouri Valley Conference game. One thing about Illinois State, they haven't given an inch. They weathered the storm. They've fallen behind, but they haven't given up.
Credit the character of the young men who play for Coach Bob Donewald. Also credit the Illinois State staff. They've done their job as far as teaching and bringing along his basketball team.
There's Bob Donewald right there, the dean of Missouri Valley Conference coaches. Hollifield just 1 out of 2. Trimpe gives it up in a hurry to Manuel, who has 14 assists so far tonight. Hawkins still being hounded by Peterson.
They're going to run him through quite a few picks. The ball will be in his hands. The Bradley Braves know what this record means, not only to them, but to Hersey Hawkins.
4:05 to go. Manuel. Hawkins. Stepped on the baseline. 3:58 left to go. Hawkins 14 away from Oscar's record. We'll be back after this from Pepsi. Wayne Larrivee and Mike Pratt of the Missouri Valley Conference Championship game. Bradley leading Illinois State. There are the parents of Hersey Hawkins. Very proud of that young man, and they should be. They're as good a player as he is. He's that good a person.
There's no doubt about it. Conversation I had with some people from Bradley, and one of the fans brought up out of the clear blue sky that he said Hersey Hawkins is a better man than he is a basketball player. Unsolicited comment. That says a lot.
There's the field goal story. Not very good in this half for either side. This is Taphorn around Pemberton. Hawkins right with him defensively. Hawks playing with 3 personal fouls. The steal by Trimpe, and he returns it to the Redbirds as Peterson brings it back. 3.5 minutes to go. Bradley still leading by 23. Wayne Larrivee and Mike Pratt at Carver Arena. Illinois State trying to play catch-up. They're a long way down. Cliff Peterson connecting. He has 11.
Here's the end of the floor where they'll catch up, if they are to catch up defensively. They've got to create some turnovers on the part of Bradley right now. Go back down and convert also very quickly, Wayne. Maybe too much to ask right now.
Pass to Hawkins denied by the ever-present Peterson. Hawkins says of all the players he's played against in the Missouri Valley Conference, Peterson gives him the most problems.
Peterson's got excellent size. He's quick.
Got long arms like a 747 wingspan.
And he's a strong player, a physical player.
Manuel lost it out of play. It'll belong to the Redbirds. Bradley is 25-4 under Stan Albeck this year. 12th ranked team in the nation. Illinois State 18-11 in an injury-plagued season under Bob Donwald. They've come a long way. Shown a lot of character and heart.
The team has been beat up for most of the year physically. Here they are in a championship game. Until tonight, they've played excellent ball for the last 12 basketball games of this year.
Peterson inside. He has 13 points now. Despite the scoreboard, Illinois State refuses to give in. Bradley leading. Got a foul inside. It's on Taphorn on the cut. Number 4 on Matt Taphorn. 19-point lead for the Bradley Braves. Taphorn sat out a good portion of the first half with 3 personal fouls and really hasn't been on track. 1 3-point field goal, 1 conventional field goal for 5 points.
He's a young man that Illinois State needed the perimeter shot. It was Taphorn or Harris. And tonight, neither one of them have been able to convert from the perimeter, Wayne. And it shows on the scoreboard for Illinois State.
Anthony Manuel with 16 assists. 11 other at the line. Substitution. Derek Stokes coming into the ball game for Illinois State. Cliff Peterson leads. Bob Donwald clearing his bench. Sonny Roberts, number 44, is on in place of Tony Hollifield. 2 great seniors for Illinois State. Peterson and Hollifield have a seat on the bench.
Coach Donwald's going to miss those 2 youngsters next year. Got a lot of seniors he's going to miss. It gave him a tremendous amount of experience. Tough, hard-nosed kids who really came to play every night.
Randy Blair, Taphorn for 3. Jerry Thomas. Manuel dribbled it off his shin. Thomas gets the carom.
Manuel gives him the hose. Slow down just a minute now. We know where this ball's going to go to Hersey Hawkins. Just not getting a hurry.
Standing ovation for Hawkins, his final appearance in Peoria. Taphorn knocked it out of play. Hawkins is still 14 points away from breaking Oscar Robertson's career Missouri Valley Conference scoring mark.
I think in the first half, when Hawkins went down and bruised that thigh above his right knee, sat down and came back. I don't think he ever got back on track. Just seems to have labored offensively. And he relies so much on movement without the ball that if the thigh's bothering or hindering his movement, it's going to slow down his offensive production.
1:35 to go. Bradley content to work some time. Trying to free up Hawkins. This is the Hawk. Hawkins on the board, try to keep it alive. Randy Blair takes it down for the Redbirds.
Every place he goes, he's looking at 3 or 4 of the Illinois State defenders.
Hawkins tipped that pass out of bounds. It's headed for Harris.
Hawkins never gets an open shot, Wayne.
1:14 left to go in the championship, and Bradley in command. We'll be back after this word. Wayne Larrivee and Mike Bradley will earn the Missouri Valley Conference automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Wichita State and Illinois State are hoping the committee looks favorably upon their performances down the stretch. Both teams played well in the last 5 weeks of the season. There's Bob Donwald, head coach of Illinois State, talking with Ron Zetcher, the official.
Well, Wayne, there's no doubt that both of those teams should be bypassed for the NCAA. They're both top flight teams for the NIT. And who really knows what's going to happen with a lot of tournament still to be played. There's always a lot of upsets. Some teams play themselves in. A lot of teams play themselves out of NCAA tournaments during this week.
Derek Stokes looking for help, throws it away. Powell to Manuel. 60 seconds to go. Albeck, I think, wants to call a timeout. Powell on the drive, the reverse. Hawkins lays it in. 27 for Hersey Hawkins.
When Coach Stan Albeck gets his timeout, he's going to take Hersey Hawkins out, and they're going to raise the roof, Wayne.
That's the substitution he wants to make.
Hawkins went over to kiss his mother and shook his dad's hand. How about that?
His final appearance as a member of the Bradley Braves at Carver Arena in Peoria.
Hersey Hawkins, not only does he know he's going to the NCAA, he knows he's going to the NBA, but most of all, he had a ball playing here at Bradley.
Came down from Westinghouse High School. He has been chosen as the MVP of the postseason tournament. Jackson on the rebound of the best foul shot by Blair. Hawkins on the drive. He is 10 points away from the career record of Robertson. Had a foul coming up right here. Fouls on Hersey Hawkins, who still has a smile across his face. 4 personal fouls on Hawkins, and they're going to take him out of the game. Standing ovation, Hersey Hawkins.
There's a whole lot of love in this building right now for that youngster. He's had a career.
That says it all very accurately. The free throw line. Derek Stokes. They're Hersey's parents. Dad in the blue striped shirt. Mom in the white standing up next to him. Timeout called by Illinois State. We'll keep it right here. 31 seconds remaining to be played. Hawkins wanted a break. Oscar Robertson's all-time career scoring record of the Missouri Valley Conference here in Peoria tonight. He needed 39 points to break it. He got 29 and really had to struggle to get those 29. You can credit some great defense by Illinois State. Hawkins in the process, though, really virtually fouled out Ricky Jackson. Cliff Peterson had 3 personal fouls on him, chasing him around. And he picked up a couple of other fouls along the way. Randy Blair, Jeff Harris.
Who would have imagined that Hawkins with 29 tonight and Bradley scores 83? To me, I felt, and Coach Bob Donowald did too, if they held him to his average or under, they would have a chance. Well, they did that. What they didn't expect was the defensive job that Anthony Manuel did on Jeff Harris and the inside play of Luke Jackson, Donald Powell, Jerry Thomas. Those guys have been sensational in the paint.
Absolutely, especially early in the game. Luke Jackson, who had 7 field goals in the first 10 minutes of the game. There's the all-tournament team. Bradley with 3. Hawkins is the MVP of the tournament, as we mentioned a moment ago. I like that, Ryan.
I'll tell you what, Hawkins, if you consider the media pressure, all the attention that he's had to handle all year long, being the leading scorer,
and still kept this team together. They're where they are today. There's no reason why he's not player of the year.
Stokes will have another one coming up. Bob Donwald. Luke Jackson hauls it in. Final half minute of play. McHugh. Pemberton the rebound. Here comes Jeff Harris. On the run again off the rebound. Shell to Cash for three. Wilson tied up momentarily and got a whistle on the play.
A lot of people in there right now that normally don't play. A big thrill to be in a game like this for a lot of those youngsters.
Time winding down, and the Bradley Braves have won the Valley Championship. Congratulations to Stan Hallbeck, Hersey Hawkins, and the Bradley Braves. Our Pepsi players of the game. Hersey Hawkins with 29 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. And for Illinois State, Tony Hollifield, who goes out on a great note on a 25-point game. Tony Hollifield with 25 points in defeat for the Redbirds. For Mike Pratt, this is Wayne Larrabee. This has been a presentation of Creative Sports Marketing from the Peoria Civic Center, Peoria, Illinois. The final score of tonight's game, Bradley 83, Illinois State 59.